everybody, I'm Kate Conroy.
And I'm Vinnie Savatello.
And this is Other People's Business, which is the podcast from the New Jersey Business and Industry Association, which is the largest business association in the country, representing 1 million jobs in the state of New Jersey. For more info on us, visit njbia.org. We release a new episode every other Friday, so be on the lookout. Shout out to New Jersey Manufacturers Insurance. They provide home, auto, and workers' comp insurance, and they're the official sponsor of the show, so check them out if you need some insurance. I feel like I say that faster and faster and faster every time.
Maybe you can just cut it down. You know, like if you're that, tired of going through it.
I'm not tired of it.
Plus, you need the script every time. So maybe if you can get it shorter, you can just memorize it.
It's like a security blanket.
Okay.
I really like the script.
Okay. But if you really liked the script, you wouldn't be rushing through it.
It's a family-friendly show, otherwise I would.
Okay. So before we get started, just a couple housekeeping matters. This show, as Kate mentioned, airs every other Friday and is available everywhere you can get a podcast. Google Play, iTunes, Amazon's Echo, or even on YouTube for people who don't know how to use a podcast. If you love us, we really appreciate the full 5 stars on whatever network you happen to be listening to this to, especially iTunes. If you hate us, by all means, write into noreply@njbia.org. Write the lengthiest email you can, and I will not read it. No, in all seriousness, opb@njbia.org is where you can send all your feedback. So by all means, do that.
If they hate a show as sweet and lovely as ours, maybe they need some therapy.
Yeah, they got problems.
Maybe it's not us, it's them.
Sure.
Yeah.
I can get behind that.
Okay.
So Rashaad Bajwa is here today from Domain Computer Services. This is actually your second time being on the show. And since the first time, you've become a board member at NJBIA, which we decided to take full credit for because our show is kind of a springboard for success. But say hi, let the audience hear your voice.
How's everyone doing? Thanks for having me back. Proud. Am I, by the way, the second time, or have you had other second time?
No, we had
Daniela
Daniela.
Velez was the first.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I know Daniela, so then
But you would be the first outside of BIA person to come back.
And technically, she was only the first because we were going to run out of episodes, so Vinnie and I were going to do an episode just of us. Okay. And she walked past the studio, and she just decided to crash the recording.
Yeah. Okay. But it was a great episode. We loved having her on. Yeah.
It worked out.
Well, thanks for having me back. I appreciate being the second official requested invited party for your podcast.
Absolutely.
We're really excited. Absolutely. All right, so today's icebreaker is, would you rather lose all of your money or all of your pictures?
That's a sadistic question.
It is.
That's like a superhero thing. Like they put like Chris O'Donnell in one thing and Nicole Kidman in the other, and Batman has to choose like one or the other.
I don't think I know who Chris O'Donnell is. Wait,
you never saw Batman Forever? It was like Robin and Chase Meridian. Or better yet, like the only real supervillain that did this right was Lex Luthor. So if you saw Superman the movie, he sent one missile to Hackensack, New Jersey, and the other one to the San Andreas Fault. Because that's not 10 feet away from each other where you can just save both. Because every superhero just saves both.
That's right.
But Superman had to pick, and because New Jersey is awesome, he picked Hackensack, New Jersey to save.
Was it really Hackensack?
Yes.
I do not remember that. I saw that movie.
I remember the movie, and that's actually like superhero timeline that I remember, because all these new ones I don't really follow as well. Right. But I didn't realize it was Hackensack.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't either.
Yeah, wow. Hackensack, New Jersey. Shout out.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, that's a heinous, sadistic question.
It is. So, I know. I can't take credit for making up the question. I can just take credit for stealing it and offering it to the group.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a deep question.
I know. It really
deep.
is. Yeah. So just, I guess, as a point of reference or an FYI, or I don't know what this is, but I think you know this. 5 years ago, my parents' house burned down.
Oh. I did not know that, actually.
Yes, and it was a horrible thing. It to the ground, into the basement. It was mud and ashes left. So they did lose every single photograph, Christmas ornaments, everything. And so if I've learned anything from that, it is that every single thing is replaceable.
I thought you were going to say they were like, at least we kept the money though. Like that's where you got this question from.
No. So if I had to choose, I would lose my pictures because I would be able to get them back somehow. Like, I would either go onto my friends' Facebook pages and pull the ones that I was tagged up.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, I would.
I hadn't thought about
So you feel
Facebook.
like there's backups for pictures, but not for money.
But I feel like in this hypothetical scenario, if you are losing the pictures, you have to lose them. Like cheating and going on Facebook, there's got to be like some virus that wipes Facebook out.
That's basically saying, I have a backup, so I don't care about losing my pictures.
Yeah.
Okay, so the ones from like the 70s and the 80s and the, before Facebook existed, those really are all gone.
Yeah.
Right.
Which, I guess...
But that's pretty sad.
It is pretty sad.
Later on, when you want to share those photos with future generations or something like that. That's gone, right?
They're gone. But I would rather they be gone than income or, retirement plans or that kind of thing. I don't know. Maybe that's a little cynical.
I don't know. It's hard to choose because I'm trying to think of it now in terms of like being a parent. Like,
Yeah.
You can't lose all the photos of the kid, but then like you can't lose the money to take care of the kids. So like,
Right, exactly.
It's awful. It's
totally awful.
So my first response to you wanted to be kind of the highbrow answer, which is pictures are memories.
Yeah.
So you don't want to lose the memories. You can always make more money, but you can't relive the memories. But then the reality is, I thought about it. I've actually lost my pictures so many times these days.
Really?
It's on your phone.
Right. And
so you don't transfer them to the new phone or anything?
Now I'm a tech guy. I'm a tech guy, and so I'd love to tell you that backups are very important, but I normally, unfortunately, my own backup is sometimes the last one I think about. And now, yes, they sync syncs to the cloud, and you have all these sort of backups.
Automatic.
But in the last decade, I've probably had one or two phones that either got destroyed or lost, and pictures were completely gone. And I'll be honest with you, I don't really remember which pictures I lost. Now, that being said, it wasn't like a first step or a graduation or something like that. It was just, memories from 2012.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And so the reality is, I guess I really, you can't recreate those memories, or I guess you can create new memories. You can't recreate those. But I got over it fairly quick. Like, I don't even know. I guess I just don't really remember what happened in 2012, I guess, now. But it's not documented very well. But I got over it.
It's a good point. I feel the same. I've lost, hundreds of pictures when I remember transferring phones or had to get a new phone or something. And I'm not techie at all. And I didn't really think about backing up. I just assumed that they were
in the cloud.
Somewhere.
Yeah, right.
Somewhere. Not so much.
Yeah, and anymore. So you survived?
I did.
Okay?
And you know what?
Were
it's
you heartbroken?
For a minute, for a minute. But then I started to take new pictures, and all of a sudden my camera roll and my phone was filled up again.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, there was a moment, we were on the phone or somewhere the other day, and we talked about Facebook being on its way out, right?
Yeah.
Was that you?
Yeah.
And it occurred to me that Facebook is now my digital photo album. Anytime I take a trip, upload all the photos, and it's called Japan 2018 or whatever. If Facebook really does go away, what is the...
No, Facebook will never go away. I just think a lot of people will migrate away from it. MySpace is still out there somewhere. I say somewhere. It's at myspace.com. You can go there right now.
But I use it as my backup, same as you did. Meaning I put it up there. I think a lot of people these days assume that when you're posting these personal pics up, it's because you're bragging about it. No, actually, it's about I just want to put it somewhere so I can go back and reference
somewhere
it.
Safe.
Because I know I'm going to lose a phone.
That's exactly right. And I'll be honest, the Google and the Amazon backup, the photo clouds or whatever, I have both of those.
Yep.
But they're not as easy to find as Facebook.
There you go. And look, in being in tech, in supporting literally thousands of users around New Jersey and New York, over the last, I guess, what has it been? Digital photos have been around for 15 years now, maybe 10, 15 years?
Yeah,
ever since
2004, 2003, somewhere there, yeah.
Ever since we stopped printing them out. There are so many people who come to us because a hard drive crashed, whether it be a laptop, whether it be a phone, whatever it might be. And you can recover stuff off of hard drives. So I guess the true question is, what do people pay to recover?
Yeah.
And there'll be one or two instances I can think of over the last decade or so where we've sent a drive out to drive recovery folks, which, by the way, this costs a lot of money. We're talking like thousands of bucks to recover the
and
data.
There goes your money.
And there goes your money. So they're willing to trade $1,000 to recover things like a wedding album or something like that. But that is so rare. The vast majority of people, they say, the hard drive crashed, what'd I do? And then they find out they had no backup or whatever it might be. And we tell them, okay, you have an option to get this back. As soon as they find out the price, guess what they want more than their photos?
Yeah.
Their money. Mm-hmm. So the reality is, I guess, memories are nice, but people are okay with creating new memories.
Yeah.
I don't know, you kind of put it into a different perspective for me because I was going to go with the pictures, saving the pictures, because I was thinking, we've done a lot of, renovations on the house lately. I'm like, how much money do I really have? But when you mentioned the 401, I was like, no, I would cry so hard if I lost all of that.
I know.
So, I guess we'll go with the money. I don't know.
Are we just greedy bad people?
I don't know. Like, it's,
Okay, I don't know, maybe. So in 2008, remember when the world stopped
Yeah.
because Wall Street exploded? I remember I opened my 401k statement like 3 months later. I just didn't want to open it for the first couple months.
Yeah, exactly.
And then when I finally did open it, half was gone. Like 50%. And it was like, I was young enough, I was fine, but
Right.
it was a full body cringe. I was like,
Yeah.
"Grr."
Yeah.
Yeah, it was not cool. And I don't know, the older I get, the more, I don't know, nervous I get. And it's not like I'm destitute or anything. Like, we do okay here at BIA, right?
But it's a safety net. It's a point of comfort.
Yes, it totally is. It totally is. I was telling somebody the other day, so I'm newly divorced and, just handling my own finances for the first time in my life. Shut up.
No. I was actually going to say nobody handles like old photos better than you do, but go ahead.
What? What is
Because you like put like, like other pictures on top of, anyway, sorry.
What
like,
are you talking about?
So like you were saying you
I
were
don't know,
newly divorced and we were just talking about photos.
Right.
I was saying like nobody handles like old photos better than you do because rather than just throwing them away, you put like little things over the parts of old photos that you don't want to be reminded of anymore. So there'll be like a photo of like Kate Middleton over like her ex-husband. Anyway. Like in a frame
That
in
is
her house. It's hilarious.
All right, so there were some group pictures.
Wait, is there really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
There was a couple of group pictures that I didn't want to get rid of.
Okay.
And so I just
We
went,
got to teach you how to crop.
I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
No, because like the parts that she wants to like not remember are dead in the middle of the photo.
They're like dead center, right, exactly. So I don't know how to do that. And it was already like a physical photograph. So I just went to the, like a CVS and I bought a couple magazines and I cut out some heads and I just...
Like most people would just
And they're all
replace the
women.
photos in the frames all together.
And when people see these photos, what do they think?
They think it's awesome.
No, it's the funniest thing.
The funniest. I'll actually show you. I have a digital copy on my phone. It is
Okay.
the funniest thing.
No,
ever.
it sounds hysterical to
It
me.
is.
But it would definitely prompt a conversation.
Of
Yeah.
course. And the conversation is usually, oh my God, did you do this? I love it.
Anyway, go ahead. You were saying.
Anyway, so I guess I was just going to say that I'm very focused on money right now. And even when it dips below like a high number, I get itchy. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm just, so yeah, the
Anxiety,
money.
it's very anxiety-inducing to know that the safety nest might be in
That's
risk,
exactly
at
right.
risk, yeah.
Exactly right. So you're on the money side, huh?
I guess
we
so,
all decided money.
I mean, that would be heartbreaking though. Like we've documented like all these big moments in
I
the
know.
kid,
Yeah.
like you mentioned the first steps. I've got those,
I know.
like
Yeah.
it's that would be heartbreaking.
And to your point, I don't know that I fully appreciate the photos until they like pop out of nowhere. Like one of the coolest things about Facebook is that reminder feature.
Yeah, the memories.
Oh, yes.
memories.
Yes.
And and these are photos that frankly would have, I guess, 20 years ago been in a photo album somewhere and you randomly come
Yeah.
across them. But Facebook brings them back to you and you're like, wow, that was a really cool moment.
Yeah, Google will do that every once in a while. I'll get an email from Google Photos. And they'll
Here's
be
what you
like,
missed or whatever.
Yeah, here's what you were doing this day 3 years ago or 5 years ago. Or,
Right,
Yeah,
right.
it's kind of nice.
It's also a little scary. I'm like, I didn't upload them to you, so why do you have those there?
Oh, wow,
Gosh.
that's freaky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Anyway,
Rashaad,
Yeah.
it's been about a year since the
Okay.
last time you were on our show. So for those of our audience members who don't remember, just remind everybody what you do.
Sure. So do a whole bunch of things. Number one is Domain Computer Services. So I'm the president of Domain Computer Services, which is a IT service provider, member, sponsor with BIA. And we are the outsourced IT company for a couple hundred businesses around New Jersey and in New York City. So essentially, we are the outsourced IT department for all of these businesses. Also, a couple of other things, and kind of very notable most recently, is Intern IT, which is a program that we developed in conjunction with, first with Mercer County Community College, and now, like brand new news, like literally in the last couple of weeks, we've put together an arrangement with Middlesex County Community College as well. And essentially, it's a program to help fill the skills gap that is very apparent in our industry, in particular in New Jersey, but probably all around the country, where we can't find good IT talent. And the reality is, rather than looking overseas, which is really the only option that we had before, we're developing it in our own backyard. And so with these community colleges, we're identifying talent that frankly we were ignoring before because we always required a 4-year degree.
yeah.
And finding out that there's some exceptional folks there that just because of money or geography were not able to go to a 4-year program. And now that we actually woke up to the fact and noticed them, they have been exceptional. The first cohort, actually, I guess the last time I was back, I don't know if we talked about intern IT, but we were probably going through our first cohort with Mercer at that time. All of those, 100%, fully salaried, benefits, all of that, 100% success rate as far as them becoming full-time salaried employees. We know we're not going to hit 1,000 going forward, but now we're in our fourth cohort with Mercer and going to be doing our first with Middlesex. So that's actually a really exciting thing, not only for us, but also for Domain, because intern IT is the farm system to create the talent for companies like not only Domain, but other IT providers, but not just IT providers, other IT departments. Every company you guys have an IT department, right? So I know Gene Tom.
Shout out to Gene Tom,
Gene Tom,
Mike Rooney.
Yeah. And so I'm sure Gene needs staff at some point or assistants or things along those lines. And to go out and try to recruit and identify that talent, develop that talent, hire that talent is very tough considering that there's a negative unemployment rate in the IT industry. And so programs like Intern IT are helping kind of move the needle on that.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So last time you were here, I think the unemployment rate in your industry was -5.
So that a lot of that, those numbers are estimates from the marketplace.
Sure.
The point here is it's negative.
Yeah. That's amazing to me.
There is so many more openings than qualified candidates.
Sure.
And unemployment rate now in general in the country is very low across the board. But in our industry, it's ridiculous. And see, a lot of people, I think, had the mentality that companies would go overseas to like India or Philippines because of cost. And actually, so there was just a webinar earlier today, right?
I was going to say, I was going to promote it.
Yeah.
Because, we were on the air this morning. If you're listening to this on the podcast, it's going to air 12 hours from now tomorrow. It's not usual that we let that go all the way to the wire like that. But this morning, Anthony DeGraw from Domain Computer Services was on, and completely unprompted, he promoted this show. So I felt like I would pay it back and promote that. On youtube.com/NJBIA or our Facebook page, you can actually get Anthony's webinar on outsourcing, which aired this morning.
That's right. So I think a lot of people have this mentality of outsourcing in order to reduce costs. And there's no doubt about it. That's a big reason to do that. But a big reason why the industry is using countries like India now, if you use India, it's $40 an hour. Wow. They're not cheap anymore.
Wow.
Meaning for good talent. Yeah. Like, you can probably get some secondhand or third-hand resources overseas that are way cheaper than that. But, proven providers that larger companies or mature companies in the U.S. would use, you got to pay $40 an hour for somebody in India, somebody who's good. Wow. So it's not just about cost. It's just that's where the skills are. And so outsourcing is not just a function of cost savings. It's a function of, can you get the talent you need to do this properly? Right. And the reality is, in some industries, in particular in IT, no, you can't. It's very difficult for folks to find the right talent or develop the talent. And so that's why programs like Intern IT are so important. That's why programs like what's going on in New Jersey right now with the new apprenticeship programs that the state has announced, that NJBIA is very involved in promoting with the Department of Labor here in the state. That's why they are so important, because it is helping give people the skills to fill the jobs that are sitting wide open right now. And these are high-paying jobs in good industries, not just tech, but in a wide variety of industries, and getting employers to now take the I'd say control in their own hands to some extent, to be able to create the workers that they need, not just hope that the workers are available. Because, when unemployment rate is very high, you can just have a job opening and you have so many people apply and somebody's going to have the skills.
Yeah.
When the unemployment rate is this low, no. It's definitely way more difficult for industry to find the appropriate staff. And so developing that talent in populations that maybe otherwise would not have had that talent becomes so much more important.
I think I heard that Amazon recently increased their minimum wage to $15 an hour, and one of the reasons that they did that was in response to the low unemployment rate. Attracting talent.
That's right.
Is an issue.
That's right, and it's getting more and more competitive. And so when companies like Amazon are raising their minimum wage to $15 per hour, that obviously is going to push others to compete with that. I'll give you another example. Amazon also has this program. I forget the name of the program offhand, but it's some workforce development program where they are training their staff, meaning the folks who are in the warehouse. They're training their staff for skills in careers that are not at Amazon. And the reason for that is it's another way. They have to attract folks. Otherwise, there's just too many openings out there in the marketplace. And this is another way that they attract the folks, even though they know that these people are going to potentially go and work somewhere else. Because, their point, Amazon's point, I can imagine, they haven't told me this kind of sort of secret or something, but their point is, how do you get somebody to come in and work in a warehouse and stock, boxes in between these robots that are moving all around you over and over again? And for how long can you actually do this? I mean, you can't do this for 20 years. You can do it for a couple of years. And so, however, if we can show you that by working this job, because somebody needs to do it, by working this job, you also have an opportunity to develop skills that will take you somewhere else, whether in Amazon or somewhere else. Now it makes it way more attractive to do this, monotonous job, perhaps. And so I get it. I get their point of view. And this is how employers have to compete in order to make sure that they're attractive to folks. Even, for example, domain in our companies. We always thought we were very, very progressive when it came to benefits and things along those lines. But we're reevaluating some of those. So for example, a simple thing. We used to have a waiting period for health benefits. I think it's just because we just...
Industry standard.
That's just what everyone did.
Yeah.
That's what just everyone did.
Yeah.
We got rid of that. We're to zero. Day one, you get the benefits. Wow. And for small and medium-sized businesses, where when you first start off, you don't even have benefits for anyone. But those are the sort of things that you have to do. Flexible PTO schedules, remote work. I mean, these are the sort of things that I think employers need to think about in order to remain competitive, because getting good talent is hard. And retaining good talent is potentially even harder. So the days of where staff were just employees for life and there was pensions and people would stay in jobs for 10, 20 years, I think that's gone. But we, as an employer, you don't want to be in a position where staff is there for 2 years. Because by the time you get them fully onboarded, up and running, then you're doing the cycle again.
Yeah, you got to pay to train them.
Yeah, and so retaining good staff, making sure that the job is attractive and leads to a career path that they want to continue with is incredibly important. Otherwise, the cost of turnover can kill a business, especially for a service business.
Yeah.
Where our product is our people, our services, our reputation.
Interesting. So, quick change of topic. You told me once that you have a third sort of wheel of business, and it was like Yelp for businesses.
You're like, what are you going to do?
I was really concerned there. I was like, what is he pulling out?
Okay, hold on. I'll try to
Yes.
see. So that's where I'm going to right after today. See this?
Yeah.
Reputation is your wealth.
All right, so if you are listening to this on iTunes or basically anywhere other than the YouTube version, Rashaad pulled off his suit jacket. He's got a T-shirt on underneath for this service.
Okay, yeah. So this is an offshoot.
And now I'm jealous. I don't have the T-shirt.
Okay, next time. I'll bring T-shirts for everyone. So it's I wouldn't call it an offshoot, but it's another kind of parallel business that did get driven off of domain. So domain's secret to success was our reputation. This is we always felt that what differentiated us from the marketplace was our people, our processes, and the reputation that ultimately delivered. And so we wrote a tool, this is going back quite a few years now, called Biz Ratings, bizratings.com, which is that Yelp thing that you remembered, that was able to help market domain's reputation to the marketplace. And so, for example, now if you go on Google and you do a search for domain, you'll see thousands of reviews about us. And I'd love to tell you that IT service is such an interesting topic that clients just want to, say, no, it's not. It's they would never think to leave a review unless it's prompted. And so Biz Ratings is a tool that kind of pulls those reviews from our clients in the form of customer satisfaction surveys that they respond to. Now, the next leg, and this is really cool, the next leg of it is another product that's kind of related to Biz Ratings that's called 360score.me. So I'm going to describe this to you. And this kind of follows on
This
that.
T-shirt kind of like serves as 2-in-1 because
That's
it's got
right.
BizRatings.com and 360 score.
Exactly. And so both of them are tied back to reputation, which is Biz Ratings is what is the reputation of your organization in the marketplace. So what do the clients of Domain think of not only Domain, but our individual engineers? 360 Score says, okay, that's your reputation in the marketplace. What is the reputation of your staff in the eyes of each other? In order to up the...
I was just thinking that's
you guys-
dangerous.
I'm thinking.
Well, it can be very...
Yeah.
It can, look, at the end of the day, it's a tool.
Right.
And so it can be used for good or it can be used for not so good. So just yesterday, actually, we were, and after this meeting, I have another demo of the product, but just yesterday, we were onboarding a large company with the 360 Score tool. And yeah, to your point, a lot of people were first getting introduced to this, and you can see the anxiety on people's faces.
Sure.
Because the reality is everyone in your organization that you work with has an opinion about you. They just may not be sharing it with you.
Yeah.
And so the question is it better kept a secret? Or is it better put out there so that way people can act on it? And our argument is... So what we tell people right out of the gate is if you have a toxic culture, don't use our tool. Because it's like literally it's going to be like pouring gasoline.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. We do not have a toxic
We don't.
environment
No,
here.
I know
But-
NJBIA. Remember,
Yeah.
I'm on the board now, so I'm familiar with you guys. And you guys do not have a toxic culture. You have a very good culture. You guys are focused on the right things. You're focused on empowering staff and things along those lines.
Yeah.
However, if you're in a culture where there's a lot of secrecy, a lot of people talk behind people's backs, a tool like 360score.me can be used in really horrible ways, where this now just becomes a bullying mechanism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So very importantly, before, we had a couple of companies that signed up for the tool, and we didn't fully appreciate how important it was to get them thinking right about the tool. And so we kind of just gave it to them, and let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Okay. So it can go a couple of ways. You had some companies who just, frankly, they didn't even know what this was. Like employees would start getting surveys about other people, and they had no idea what to do. And so they would start doing it like Uber, where Uber is essentially where you have to give everyone a 5.0 unless somebody vomited in the car, right? I mean, I think the number is like 95% of Uber and Lyft scores are 5 out of 5s. So essentially, if you don't get a 5, you're horrible. And so a lot of people would start using the tool that way. And then we found our product to be very similar to other rating, review, HR tools that are out there where everyone just gave everyone 100. And so it was meaningless.
Yeah.
It's completely meaningless. What we found made the biggest difference is we had to train people on, look, this is the scale. And so, by the way, we use an A to F scale, like grading scale. Yeah. And so we have to remind people, what's average? Average is not 95.
Right.
Average is 75.
Yeah.
So basically, I went in and gave Kate an A, and then Rashaad was like, "Really though? Is Kate really an A?
Yeah.
You know?
Well, actually, I'm cool with you giving
The
Kate.
average is kind of a C.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm cool with you giving Kate an A, but if you give everyone an A plus,
Yeah.
my friend, you gotta you have very low standards, or you are using this like that Uber kind of mechanism, which is I'm just going to give everyone a high grade. So you have people who just discard the tool, and then then you potentially have the toxic companies where now they see this as a mechanism for, okay, now I get to kind of throw dirt out there. And if that's the way that companies are going to use the tool, then we're going to have a problem.
Yeah.
But then we found out coaching people, onboarding them. So we've now created an entire kind of coaching platform where we have coaches who are using our product, and then we'll train companies on this is how you use the tool properly. If used properly, it takes culture to the next level. And the reason why is because you create an environment of radical candor, where people will now speak the truth to each other rather than just judge each other and resent each other without telling them what they really like. So, for example, you two. You have. You're like, oh wow, where's this going to go?
I already gave you an A. All right, Rashaad's the one that talked me down. Okay.
Okay. So the reality is, you guys know each other very well.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. You know each other's strengths. You know each other's weaknesses. You know each other's blind spots.
Probably.
or at least a lot of them.
Yeah.
You're going to know each other's blind spots a lot better than you're going to know my blind spots.
Right.
Just because you've had this level of exposure with each other. And the question is, will you guys benefit from having an honest, open conversation with each other about what these blind spots are? Okay? Because if you don't know what
Yeah, but is it like public and permanent? Like, you know, I mean, there was a whole episode of the Black Mirror about this, and it didn't go well.
Nosedive.
Yes,
Yeah.
with Bryce Dallas Howard.
Okay.
You should totally watch it. It's
You should
amazing.
totally watch that. And that is This Gone Wrong.
Yes, it's this gone very, very wrong.
So this is not public. This is all anonymous.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is
Oh,
all
it's anonymous.
Oh, yes.
So Vinnie doesn't know what I have written and said.
No, so what you would get is he would get that.
Yeah,
back.
no.
He
What
just
I
wouldn't know
was
it's
worried
from
about
you.
was like the general public doesn't know that like
God,
Rashaad
no.
talked me into giving you a seat.
Yeah, no.
So-
So the reality is the entire organization or everyone you work with, Kate, would get surveyed about you and then would have an ability to provide you feedback anonymously. So you now get all of this anonymous feedback, scores and all of that sort of stuff. And we found the score that you get is pretty darn close to what your actual reputation in the organization is, in organizations that do this properly. And so you'll have a pretty good idea of what's going on. And if you have the right mindset, you're also going to get a lot of stuff you're doing great, and so you should keep doing it.
Right.
But you're also going to find out a lot of things that you need to improve. I'll give you an example. So I'm actually in a position that's at most risk of having a lot of blind spots, and that is being the CEO of an organization. And the reason why is people are afraid to tell me the truth. Because, they potentially fear the consequences or just, seniority. And so prior to us using this tool, there's a lot of people that had opinions about my behavior, but they didn't have a good mechanism to share it with me. After using the tool, and so this is actually when we onboard new companies for the tool, I share with them what I did. I shared all my negative feedback that I got through the tool. Not positive, because I had plenty of positive stuff too. But the negative stuff was the tough stuff for me to digest. And I had to do everything but put my fist in my mouth, not to kind of, want to qualify and say, well, this person said this, but they don't know this or this context.
Right.
You almost justify
Yeah,
it. Exactly.
I get it.
And that's just a human reaction, I think.
Totally.
But once I got over that and actually paid attention to the comments, the reality is the vast majority of this was true. This is people that are around me more than my family.
I was going to say your wife works at the company, so a lot of those bad ratings could have been her. You don't know.
Oh my God.
Can you imagine you hack the back end and find out that all the constructive criticism came from Michelle?
So by the way, right out of the gate, I made a mistake with Michelle where we actually, so the way that it works is your proximity in the org chart with each other is how you decide who gets to review who.
Okay.
Because in a larger organization, there's going to be people that just don't know each other.
Yeah.
And then it's weighted based on your proximity.
Right.
So me and Michelle are actually very close in the org chart.
Right.
So right out of the gate, yes, there was feedback, scoring. I went in, and right out of the gate, I'm like, I'm changing this to zeros, meaning we cannot rate. This is not right. We cannot rate each other. This is not going to go well.
No. Oh my God.
So we changed that. But the feedback I got, it was dead on true. Some of it was maybe a little bit out of context. They didn't understand some aspects. But things like, and this is hard stuff to tell a CEO. In meetings, you start talking and keep talking for a while, and it's hard for others to get a word in. The way that you respond when some people provide feedback is sometimes kind of off-putting and cuts them off. And I'll be honest, this is true.
Yeah.
This is true.
I was going to say, it's really brave of you to share this stuff on our podcast.
I agree.
It's just an entertaining podcast.
I agree. That's
But if I don't know that, how am I going to
Right.
improve it?
Right.
I thought I was really well behaved in meetings. Or actually, no. In retrospect, I now know that I can be very dominant. Even right now, I've probably talked over you guys so many times. That's just kind of what I do. But if I'm going to improve myself, I need to know what my blind spots are, and now I have an ability to move the needle on it. And CEOs, we have the biggest problem because no one speaks truth to power.
Yeah.
So anyway, so that's 360score.me. So so now when people ask me what do I do, I just say I'm a tech entrepreneur, just because there's a couple of these different things.
So many buckets.
Yeah, you want a
many.
20-minute answer, or I'll just give you the two words.
Interesting.
So would that be scary for you guys, by the way, to have a 360 score?
I think maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah. Like we said, we have a great culture here.
We do.
Yeah, but I could see how in some places it would be very, very scary.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like,
So some people come out with the attitude of, I want to know where I stand.
yeah.
Right.
I want to know where I stand because if people think I suck or think I need to improve on something, I want to know about it because how else am I going to change it?
Yeah.
Or then you have the reverse, which is I'm afraid to know what people
Really
think
big.
about me because then how am I going to react?
Yeah. One of my favorite expressions is other people's opinion of you is none of your business. And, you know, it's really easy to get lost in the whole, oh my gosh, what do they really think of me?
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
you know, especially when you're a teenager and, you know, it's you know, difficult.
Yeah.
And so I have tried to take that to heart for a long time and just not worry what other people's opinion of me is. But professionally, I agree. I think it would be really helpful to know.
Yeah.
Because I try really hard to know what my blind spots are. But
Yeah.
you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah. And look, the reality is this, and this is kind of, you know, the whole reputation is your wealth concept that all of these organizations are kind of built around.
Yeah.
What you think of yourself is ego.
Right.
What other people think of you is your reputation.
Right.
And the reality is your ego isn't going to give you a raise.
Right.
Your ego isn't going to promote you. Your ego isn't going to give you opportunities. It's going to be other people. So even though, you know, and we call this the surfer mentality, like don't worry what other people think as long as you tried your best. You know what? That's BS. I mean, that's okay for your ego in order to kind of
Right.
maintain yourself, and it creates a nice story for ourselves to feel good about ourselves. But if you want to get ahead in this world, it kind of not sort of matters what other people think. It's
Totally.
kind of everything.
Did you ever see the Netflix slide deck where they talked about hard work is irrelevant?
No.
It's amazing. So apparently the culture at Netflix is that don't tell me that you worked really hard if you produced nothing.
Right.
If it takes you 8 hours to produce 4 hours worth of work, that's not going to get you a pat on the back. Don't tell me how hard you worked. It's irrelevant. What did you do?
It's results.
Exactly.
It's results. And so I would love to tell people that, you know, it doesn't matter what everyone else in your office thinks as long as you're working hard, right?
Yeah.
No.
No.
That's not the way the world works. And this is actually one of the most important messages that we teach these interns when we're bringing them in for intern IT, which is letting them know, look, how your peers, your mentors, your coworkers, your supervisors, later on, your reports,
Yeah.
you know, how these people see you is everything.
Yeah.
If you are just confident that you're doing a good job, I'm sorry, that's not a good enough view. That in and of itself is not going to get you anywhere. Somebody else has got to buy into that as well. And so that's really why we wrote 360 Score, because even though it's scary to know what other people think of you, it is incredibly important. Now, you don't want to go down the whole nosedive Black Mirror.
Yes, I was going to say,
Yeah.
like, that is... You
What
just totally-
happened?
Well, all right, so the episode is where they live in a world where you get rated on every single interaction you have. So if you and I are in the elevator together and we go down, then I rate you on based on, like, how pleasant you were in our, you know, trip down the elevator. And everything in your life, from your interest rates to, like, where you live, is based on how good your score
And
is.
China is kind of doing something.
Yeah, I heard about that, and
social
that
capital.
really
So-
terrified me. And
Yeah.
just thinking, like, wow, this can't
Yeah.
be a thing.
So as I said, it can go bad.
Yeah.
Right? And this is a tool. It can go bad. But the reality is, right now, when we were coming up in the elevator together, we weren't rating each other, but we had if one of us completely weirdly misbehaved,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
we would have, that would have been a data
would log
point.
it.
Yeah,
Right.
we would log it, and that would be part of our overall impression of that person and part of that reputation.
Correct.
And the reality is, we can argue and say that's scary and all of that all we want. It's happening all the time.
Yeah.
We have these things called brains that are measuring all of this data of our interactions with each other. And the smartest ones of us actually are really good at measuring other people's reputations. So that way, we know who's going to waste our time, who is beneficial for us to spend time with, who is a good client, who is, you know, all the...
Yeah.
Yeah, you were describing the negative things about this episode to, like, the core, you know? Like,
No,
but yeah, no, I
that's
get
right.
it, yeah.
It really does come down to whether or not you want to know, and how it's scary to know, but it's scarier not to know.
I mean, theoretically, we have
Is it?
performance
Yeah.
reviews,
Yeah, I
right?
think
So
it
it's
is.
not
Yeah.
like it's not like you should be flying blind anyway.
Right.
Yeah, but I
your
guess it
performance
depends on
review-
how good your performance review is in terms of like how honest and all that. Yeah.
No, and so really 360 score is just an add-on to performance reviews, meaning a performance review generally is in one direction.
Yeah.
From your supervisor to you. This is now not just the view of the supervisor, because the supervisor, depending on the size of the organization, may not have that full view of you. Your coworkers, I think, add some color. If people report to you, I think that adds color. And so this is really bringing to the attention of the organization, everyone is potentially a teacher of everyone else, as opposed to the supervisor is the only one that can tell you what you need to improve on.
Right.
I don't know if that's right. I think there's a lot more to be learned in an organization. So anyway, that's 360score.me.
Wow. I feel like we've got a lot to think about.
You want to take a break?
Yeah, I think let's take a break, and when we come back, we're going to play Awful or Awesome.
Cool.
Okay,
All right.
Sounds good.
And we're back, and it's time to play Awful or Awesome. I'm going to explain what the game is, even though I feel like probably shouldn't have to anymore, because so many people just re-listen.
We're 34 episodes deep. Although we didn't do it for the first, however, we didn't do it the last time you were here. So.
Oh my gosh! So you have not yet played Awful or Awesome?
I don't think so.
Okay, so I will.
That was a
do the
season
rules.
2 thing.
Yeah, it's a
Okay.
season 2 thing, right? Okay, so Awful or Awesome is where I'm going to name 3 things, and then we have to decide quickly whether it is awful or awesome, and defend your answer
Okay, for each one of the items.
for each one.
Okay,
Mhm.
got it.
Yep. Ready?
Yeah.
Ready?
All right. People who come to work sick and or bring their kids to daycare sick. It's kind of a gimme.
Absolutely
Awful.
Awful. Yeah.
Awful. Any conversation?
This is my new pet peeve. So we recently sent Chloe off to daycare for the first time, within a month, and somebody brought their kid to daycare with a stomach flu and got the entire class sick and all the parents sick, and nothing made me more mad in my life.
No. You were out for 2 days, and
Yeah,
you lost a whole weekend.
Yeah, actually, you know what else I lost? I'm 8 pounds slimmer now. If you're watching this on YouTube, so.
I was wondering.
Yeah.
I didn't want to ask, but
Hey,
I
hey.
thought maybe.
The upside-
So there's
to the flu.
upsides to the flu,
Oh, man.
I get to look better on camera. Although the camera adds 10 pounds, so maybe it's a
You're
wash.
net.
But it was adding 10 more pounds before. But no, I actually had a conversation with one of our members, and I won't name the name. But she was telling me recently that when her daughter was a kid, 2 years old or so, they had a big 100+ person birthday party planned, and it was really expensive and everything. But the night before, her kid got the flu, and she wasn't sure whether to cancel it or not. And so she didn't, because she didn't want to lose out on all the money that she had spent on the party. And she said 90% of the party sick. We're talking pregnant mothers, the elderly, the grandparents, the parents, the kids, people that had to catch flights the next day. Then they all brought that flu home to their families. And I was like, that is heinous.
Yeah. We're
that is-
patient zero.
Patient
in
zero.
apocalypse.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, that's horrendous.
That is terrible.
Yeah, it is.
No,
Yeah.
having 3 kids myself, that's a huge pet peeve of mine, especially during the season that we're coming into right now. That's why I bathe in antibacterial. Because the kids are...
Is that the trick?
Transport. Well, once again, knock on wood, it's been okay, but you get a lot of pushback. I remember when my kids were young, I would have, grandparents, and anytime people came to the house, I would say, before you interact with the kids, use some antibacterial. And I would get so much judgment, especially from the older generation. Just kind of oh, we're not dirty, we bathed before we came, and all this sort of
It's not
stuff.
about that.
But in this day and age, they're saying the flu killed God knows how many people last year.
Yeah.
And that is a huge pet peeve. And I think just out of convenience, people let it slide.
Yeah.
You know what it is? All right, so Chloe had gotten sick, and then she had gotten better, and as she was getting better, we started to get sick. So there was a moment there where we were actually kind of looking forward to sending her off to daycare, because we were like, it's really tough to be both a parent and somebody throwing up on the couch. You just want to be get out of my face.
Yeah.
But she threw up the night before, and we were like, we can't do that. We can't be those people. She got re-sick. And I was like, I'm not going to be that person that sends her off into that. It's awful. I feel like as adults, we have a better handle on this. We don't get each other sick at work very often.
Right.
Sometimes when you have a cold, it's hard to stay out for 3 weeks. But
Right. No, the kids it's just a constant cycle.
I agree.
it's awful.
It is awful.
It's so awful. I'm so mad about this. You have no idea.
All right, moving on.
Moving on,
All
sure.
right. Desktop computers.
Oh, I love them.
Versus like a laptop that you can just take home and...
Yeah. So much more powerful.
Okay.
More monitors.
Yeah. Bigger monitor, certainly.
Bigger monitors for sure. And and also I'm not one of these guys that can get a lot of work done sitting in a Starbucks surrounded by 20 other people.
No.
I like to be able to focus, quiet, and being at my desk in my office, whether a home office or in the office. I'm a desktop computer guy. I have a laptop, but it just, I use it when I'm traveling.
Right.
I've definitely become a laptop guy. Like, I have a dedicated gaming desktop in my house, but I don't do anything with it outside of gaming. So, like, no surfing the internet, nothing. But other than that, like, I used to have like the desktop computer that was attached to like the router and the Wi-Fi, and now you don't need to do that. Like, now those things can independently exist wherever the port is in your house. So, yeah, like it's not something I mean, other than here, we use the desktop computers here. Yeah. But I've definitely gotten to a point where I prefer the laptop.
Yeah.
I use a lot of specialized software, so it's hard.
Yeah.
Keyboard. Like, I need a full keyboard. I have huge hands.
Yeah.
So those little things, I can't deal with them.
I've gotten used to the ergonomic keyboard too, so it can be a little hard to do the laptops, and I hate those little pads. I'm kind of contradicting myself. Like, as I'm saying this, I'm
want to reevaluate
no, desktop
your answer?
computers are awesome.
I like my desktop a lot, but I really love the convenience of a laptop. I love to be able to, especially for work, like working from home a lot. I know.
Did you hear that? I
did.
have no idea what that
I think
sound
that was an alarm coming from a phone.
But it's on airplane mode.
But do you have an
doesn't
alarm
matter.
set? Like,
Airplane mode.
that was the
Airplane mode
quirkiest little
doesn't-
sound. It was like...
You still need alerts on airplanes.
You're right. Let me just check here. Yes. It was a reminder.
Oh.
Sorry about that.
Reminder that we're on air. It's okay. My actual work phone rang like a couple episodes ago when
did.
Frank was here. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I like the idea of working at my desk, closing it down, throwing it in my bag, and then opening it back up at work or at home the next day if I'm working from home or if I'm on the road. I love the convenience of it. But yeah, the big monitor is beautiful. I have really long fingers, and so the keyboard, I really like having the big. And have you ever gotten to a point where you've memorized? It's like playing the piano. You don't even need to look at the keyboard. You're just like doing it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that's what typing is. So, I mean,
Oh my God.
Are you judging on
I'm
typing
not
skills?
talking about
Home row.
Yeah.
ASDF, Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
I'm not talking about just typing. I'm talking about the numbers and the delete and the home and the insert.
all right, I will
and
give
the-
you that. Like,
Thank
QWERTY, like, I've got the
Right.
letters down. Like, when you get into the specialty keys that aren't like period and comma and
Judgment.
All right, it wasn't judgment. I was just saying,
have
like,
you
you
had
know.
typing lessons. Hello.
I mean, you basically described the most basic thing about using a
I
computer.
realized that I did that. You're right, but that's not what I was really talking about.
She likes the full keyboard.
Like, isn't
I
it
do.
awesome when you go to the pool and you get wet? You know?
Oh my God! Such abuse. I can't even deal. Moving on.
So desktop, yes. I'm a
Yes.
desktop guy.
Sure.
Yeah, me too. All right, cell phones at the dinner table.
I don't know. Like, recently, this became my wife's big pet peeve. Like, so, because I guess, like, before the kid, it wasn't that big of a deal. We just do whatever. And now, like, we want to present, like, good behavior. Or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
Modeling.
You're a role model now.
I know.
Do as I say, not as I do.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
It's tough for me because this is my office here is a dead zone. So, like, when I get home is when, like, you know, I kind of catch up on the day.
Sure. Yeah.
And, like, dinner occurs, like, basically almost as soon as I get in the door. So, you know, there's, like, things, they're pulling me, you know, but I'm trying not to.
I get that.
Yeah.
So you're saying it's awful or it's awesome?
I guess, what was the actual wording of it?
Awful.
Cell phones at the dinner table.
I guess it's awful.
You're so sad about it. I guess it's
It is.
awful.
It is
a thing.
awful, but I'm also a hypocrite.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like it definitely is something that I would prefer didn't happen, but I'm also guilty of it more often than not. And it's always out of this self-importance of, you know, there might be something that comes up
Right.
that I need to address right
Yeah.
away. But the reality is most of the people who an emergency that would matter to me are at that table. You know, if my whole family's there.
Yeah.
So it's just, yeah, it's awful.
Yeah, I'm so on the fence. I mean, I eat most of my meals on my couch in front of the TV.
Yeah.
You know, enjoying my catch up time. You know, like you. But I remember, I
Or
was
like
at-
me, like a year or two ago.
Right, exactly. I remember a couple of years ago, I was at dinner with friends, and my one friend, Catherine Doherty, who runs the Charleston area CVB. So if you ever have to go to Charleston, I'll hook
okay.
you up. She will take you to all the best restaurants.
Sweet.
She literally, I was doing this. I was holding my phone, and she literally reached across the table, took it out of my hands, and put it onto the seat next to her. And I was like, what are you doing? And she's like, no phones at the dinner table.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And she did it with this.
Was this like a private meal that you were having, or was it
No,
at
it was like
house,
5 or 6 of us.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've actually thought about doing it to you too. Like, no, it's a real pet peeve for me when you're with friends. Like the family, I'm coming around to the idea that I shouldn't do it there.
Yeah.
But like if we're hanging out,
Is there anything else you want to share with us?
I know.
No?
Hey, I was going to
See,
give her the
blind
A.
spots.
You're the one that talked me down to
Blind
the C.
spots,
I just want to
hello.
keep reiterating that. No, like in social settings, I'm like, we're hanging out.
Why do we go
you
out
know?
to dinner
exactly.
for you to look at your Facebook feed?
Right. That's
What's
fair.
so amazing in Instagram
Nothing.
right now?
Yeah.
Nothing.
You know, it's just a habit.
The number of followers that I have, that's what's amazing.
That's just, no, but it just
It is quite impressive.
No,
I'll
no,
give you that.
I find myself same thing. It's like just in downtime scrolling, and I don't even know what I'm scrolling
It's like habit.
for. Yeah.
It's a habit. We had this question once, what's your favorite game on your phone? And I don't have one. My favorite game is Pinterest. I just like mindlessly scroll Pinterest while
And by the way, by the time you're through this, you probably looked at the same stuff
Totally.
like 3 times.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is completely ridiculous.
So yeah, we as a society, I think, have this problem, including myself. So that's why I think it's awful.
Yeah. And you know what? One more pet peeve, since we're on the topic. I hate it when people answer their phone in a meeting. I feel like you're basic, and so they'll be like, hello, oh, hey, Kate, yeah, I'm in a meeting right now. I got to call you back. Why did you answer the phone? Like, you're basically telling me, sorry, I'm with somebody more important.
Yeah.
And when you answer the phone, you were saying to that person, somebody more important might be on the phone. Hang on.
Yeah. And I think it falls into the same bucket of it's just lack of respect.
General rudeness.
Yeah.
My phone actually has a thing. It's like a preset where you can not answer a call, but then like send an immediate text.
Yes.
And it gives you certain presets, and one of them is like in a meeting.
Right.
So I'll usually just like kind of fire that off. But,
Yeah.
So I thought I was so smart in having a smart watch. So I don't have to look. So let's say I get a text.
Yeah.
I don't have to look at it. I get it on my watch. But what I didn't realize is
It looks like you're checking the
it
time.
looks like I'm checking the time.
Yeah, like I'm really bored. How
Yeah,
long
I'm
is
really
this
bored.
gonna be?
Exactly. So I'm like, so that misfired. So that is not a good hack around that problem.
No, it's totally not. All right, I think that was
That's
the
our game?
Yeah.
All right, so as I said earlier in the show, we're in a very unique situation where this is coming out 12 hours from when we record it. Normally, and I'm pulling back the curtain a little bit to let you guys know how we do this. Normally, we record it way in advance and we tell people you really can't promote anything coming up because it'll be over by the time we
Right.
air. But you, in a very unique situation, get to promote something. So is there anything coming up that you'd like to promote?
I would actually love to promote our new partnership with Middlesex County Community College. And in particular, next week we have an open house there where students, community college students, and it doesn't have to be necessarily just at Middlesex, are welcome to come and find out about intern IT. If you're interested in having a career in technology, this is a great opportunity to get paid to learn the skills as well as get on that career ladder for something in the future. And all we look for is a curiosity in technology and a willingness to learn and be teachable. And so, yeah, anyone who's at Middlesex County Community College or in the broader Mercer County, Middlesex area and thinks that might be a good fit, we'd love to have them. We're going to have an open house in next week at Middlesex.
You said next week. What would be the actual date?
That's a great question, and which I don't have the
This
answer
is the kind of
to.
thing you should have nailed down before, a week from now.
Yeah. I believe it's Wednesday at lunchtime.
So that would be like October 17th, right?
17th?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I want to say October 17th.
Yeah,
is
you're right.
Wednesday.
You're right. Uh-huh.
Right. Well, how about this? If anyone's interested, they should get in touch with me, and we'll make sure that they get the appropriate information. So my email address is Rashaad, RASHAAD, at go-domain.com. If you're interested, let me know, and I'll make sure I forward you over the correct material.
I was going to say this is an awesome segue because my next question is how can people get a hold of you guys if they want to take advantage of your services? But I'm assuming you don't have to email the CEO to get a hold of domain. So how would you recommend?
Yeah, so number one is go visit our website, which is go-domain.com. And on the contact page, you can definitely fill that out to get in touch with our team. Otherwise, please do. Feel free to reach out to me, and I can forward you to the appropriate staff that can help you out, whether it be with intern IT, whether it be with domains IT services, or frankly, if you're interested in 360 Score and things along those lines, I can put you in touch.
Awesome.
Fabulous. All right. I think that might be our show.
That's our show.
Okay.
All right. Thank you to our subscribers and listeners. We appreciate the support.
No, go ahead. By all means.
I feel the love. I'm feeling it so hard right now.
Script reading is
Yeah,
the
script reading.
Thanks to New Jersey Manufacturers Insurance Group, the official sponsor of the show. They do home, auto, and workers' comp, so check them out if you're in the market for updated coverage. And finally, thank you to Rashaad Bajwa for
Thank you so much.
joining us today.
Well, thanks so much. Appreciate it.
It was a great show.
It was.
Thank you, guys.
All right, see you next time.
Bye.